Before the Money is really just celebrating the ups and downs of the come up stage, you know, because it's something that not many people talk about until they've made it. You know, once you're successful, yeah, I'll talk about my failures, but while I'm failing, I don't want to fucking talk about my failures.
Nope.
What's up, everybody? We are back with another episode of Before the Money. This is my favorite fucking time of the week. I love this shit.
Go.
So we're going to do it a little bit of an introspective episode because everybody in the crew here at Before the Money at Electric Sugar, we're all hustling, doing our thing, trying to make the life of our dreams, to put it simply. So we thought we'd open up the mental curtains a little bit and just talk some fucking real shit, you know? Because I think we're all dealing with the natural progression of you know, like a self-produced life at the moment, and it has its ups and downs. Like, I know personally, I just come out of a fucking couple of week funk, so I'm getting my energy back. I'm ready to take on, and I want to share that with you guys. So this is gonna be an interesting episode, man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I've definitely felt like I've been in a bit of a funk. I'm like right on the end of it. I can feel that. We're finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, oh, actually, hang on. Go this way. You'll feel good again.
Yeah, well, I mean, for everyone watching, you look vastly different to the last episode. What's to go with that?
So I've been using this different exfoliator, and it's really,
Makes
you can
your hair
really
fall
see
out.
it. It's a bit abrasive. Yeah, no, I've cut my beard and all my hair off, so I'm looking like a peanut.
Chrome dome. It suits you though, because you got a beautiful face. You know?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's I can feel the breeze when I walk around now.
Yeah, that'd be a trip.
Last time I did this, I shaved my beard in summer, and I had a beard tan on my face. Haven't got it this time, lucky we're in winter, but yeah. It feels very weird to have no hair again,
So
especially after
why
growing
did
it
you
for a
do
while.
it though?
I just needed a reset.
Yeah.
Every now and again, when you know life's kicking me in the dick, you're just like, fuck, I want to reset something. I want to start again, and it's just a very easy way to. You look completely different. People treat you completely differently, whether you've got beard or not beard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just felt like it was a good day for it. I woke up and I told myself I was going to be productive this morning when I got up, and then I woke up not wanting to be productive. So it was like my mid-zone. I'm like, it is a productive action, but I'm not actually having to work or do anything. And then after that, I was set. After I cut my hair off, I was like, well, fuck. Got no drag anymore. Fucking less friction. Let's just keep going.
Aerodynamics. But yeah, like you said, it's the change of state, really. And like, it takes a major decision to go and change your appearance in such a drastic way. So that, I feel like that would start like a momentum of forward progression.
Yeah, it definitely does. And it always lines up with the start of a very heavy push for me.
Yeah.
Whenever I cut it all off. So
yeah, fucking oath. Well, I mean, I wish I had a beard to shave off, but I'm stuck with old bare skin.
I've grown my mustache and I haven't heard one thing about it.
See, that's the point. I was getting like very regular comments on the beard, like, bro, it's nice beard. Yeah. Oh, your beard's so good. It's so thick. How'd you grow a beard like that? I'm like, I just don't shave it.
There's no secrets there. 100%.
Just don't shave.
So let's dive straight in. Like, the current position that I'm in, as you guys would have heard if you tuned into the last episode, the end of this month, the end of July, Anarchy is launching their best ever collection. We've really fucking leveled up just across the board, really, in terms of like the amount of detail we've put into every single piece. I feel like we're really starting to get a grip for our message, how we want to be perceived by the world, which has been like an amazing journey the first half of this year. Leading up to that, there's been some delays, there's been some failures along the way, all sorts of things, but we're moving to the pointy end now, and I've found myself like quietly stressing, if that makes sense. I'm always the one to, you know, it's all good, it's all gravy on the surface, but underneath, in times like this where there's so much coming to collision at one time, I find myself just getting deep in thought. And a lot of the time, sometimes, like, I'll detail it in a second. I was talking to you about it before, Reece. Like, sometimes that quiet stress leads to a major revelation or a kick up the arse, which we all need from time to time. But other times, that internal monologue really kind of makes it hard. It adds like a drag or a weight to every kind of decision you're making because, you know, you're putting so much emphasis on making the right decision. But was it Sunday night? Like, I was driving home, you know, we were hanging out with some friends. I was driving home, quietly stressing, and I kind of had this little bit of a switch in mindset, and I just started laughing, you know, and I'm a little bit of a crazy person when I do this. I literally talk to myself in the car, like
cackling to yourself in the car on the way home.
Legit,
you don't
man.
need to tell us you're
Guilty.
crazy, man.
Oh, man, I pride myself on it. I'm a fucking lunatic.
No, that's good. That's why we have you around.
But I just started laughing because I was just like, oh, fuck, I hate this current situation. But at the same time, I love how motivated it is making me, because every ounce of my being was just kind of saying, like, you owe it to yourself to make this collection the one that changes it. You know, I've been going at it now for what? Anarchy's 6 fucking years old. You know, 6 years old, and I still feel like we're just starting, because every decision takes us in kind of a new direction. So I was like, I hate how stressed I am about this, but at the same time, I love how motivated and excited it is making me, because everything that passes through my brain at the moment is just like, oh, how can I make this better? How can I improve that? You know, how can I improve the lives of those around me? Because, you know, it really just gives me the fucking energy. And once I had that shift in mentality, the weight was lifted. And that's why I started laughing, because I was like, literally everything that goes on in your world is a direct response to the energy you're putting out there, the actions you're taking, and things like that. And it is literally all your dreams are right there in front of you, within reach. And the only thing stopping you from having them is your ability to grab them.
Yeah.
When I kind of had that realization, I've had many of these across the years, I just started laughing, and the weight lifted off my chest. And I am so fucking excited to show this, because, like I said to you in the beginning, this is levels upon levels upon levels of everything we've ever created in the past. So it's been really, really exciting. But I know you've got some good feedback on the collection as well.
Yeah, well, first thing I'll say is the Anarchy being 6 years old shows in these pieces. Like, I've seen not even the final of these pieces, but a close to final.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody, as soon as you interact with these garments, as soon as you see them, the two that I'm talking about, I'm not going to give away too much based on what you want to say and not, but you see the two pieces, even seeing them individually, they stand out so much, and you could see the craftsmanship as soon as you touch it. But then when it is in your hand and you're going through the details, and I've even heard of the added details on top of the ones that I've already seen, and the details in those ones were nuts anyway. There's just no way that these don't spread like wildfire in my mind.
Yeah.
As soon as they roll out, I think that the word is just going to pass. Like, people are going to see people wearing them and stop people and be like, yo, like, I don't know you, but where'd you get this hoodie?
They're legit, man.
It's that kind of hoodie. And
in the purple hoodie, and I know for some of you guys following us on social media, you might have seen the early samples, but that purple Astro hoodie, I cannot wear it anywhere without someone asking me where it's from, and that's just the fucking samples, bro.
And whenever I was wearing it too, I had a lot of people ask me where it's from, or just saw a lot of people looking.
Yeah.
A lot of people like checking it out, like, oh fuck, look at that jumper. They really, really stand out.
Yeah.
And even more so with the final touches that you've put in there, and like making certain parts of it bigger as well. Like, I'm looking forward to see them like full size, all the work on them.
Even though they stand out, they don't stand out as in like that's bold. They stand out as in like, wow, that's really very nice. Well thought out. You know, and it complements the person. Like, for as long as I can remember, our mission has been, you know, crafting confidence within our consumers. And this next collection, I feel like embodies that more than anything.
Yeah, 100%. And it's The level of quality that it's at and the amount that's gone into putting it together, it's only natural that you would feel more stressed out like you have been feeling. It's like, it's the big scrap. It's like the title fight,
The grand
there's
final.
a lot
Yeah.
going into it. And I think that there's nothing, it's all positive about those emotions, because everybody says that growth happens when you're out of your comfort zone. And you were saying you were like quietly stressing to yourself and like you're not feeling comfortable because you're going through a process of growth. And you come out the other side, it's not finished, that lesson, because it's still going to drop and there's going to be a lot more that you gain from that. But you making that switch in your mindset where you started laughing is just the first step of that growth was completed, and you're like, oh, now I feel better because I've like leveled up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very easy to get like in those negative spirals, and they can take you all the way fucking down. And like, it really just takes that split second, taking control of your mind. And like, it's a funny thing to say, because a lot of people don't believe that there is a separation between the self and the mind. But how often would you be sitting there having conversations with yourself?
Yeah, I do.
It's something that we all do, and it really just shows that we have to be in control of ourselves and our own thoughts just as much as we have to be in control of our environment around us and our physiology and our health and all that kind of stuff. There's no separation between the mind and our thoughts and the real world. Like, they're one and the same in my opinion. And that kind of realization I had with myself was just the most recent reminder of that, basically. Because, I consider myself to be an extremely happy and positive person, but I'm human at the end of the day. And my brain is there to keep me alive, to keep me out of danger. And what I'm doing, although I'm not running from a fucking mountain lion right now, I'm putting myself in a situation where, like, if this doesn't go well, I don't know what happens after that. I have no fucking clue. Like, I'm putting everything on the line in this one,
Yeah.
And, like, it's exciting because that's how I like to live my life. But, like, I'm fucking scared, bro. Like, I'll be honest.
There's a level of risk, and there's and it's you got to be a certain type of person to take that risk as well, because a lot of people don't understand people who do. Like, my reference is getting into making music and stuff. A lot of the people who come back when they hear that is all like, oh, saturated, that's how you can do that, and they just write it off because it's a risk that they wouldn't take, and they're like, I don't understand why you would take that. It doesn't make sense when you could just, hey, get a good job and earn, and then you're sweet. You got money, you got your family, you got your house, and I'm like, yeah, well, you can get all those things, but like, it's
sounds like a game of Sims.
And that's legit, all bro. It ever will be too. Like, I want some expansion packs, bro. Like, I don't want your standard basic, like, I
want some mods.
Yeah. Do some cool shit. I don't know. Like, I'd rather live kind of skimpily than just like average.
Yeah.
It's just because, I don't know. My mind works too hard thinking about everything. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if I lived an average life, my mind would get the better of me. There's too much time to think about everything.
Too much idle time.
Yeah, and I just and that's all I would do is idle. 100%.
Yeah, I definitely notice it as well. Like, when I'm getting into, say for instance, I have like a day, or I start off my morning just quite relaxed, and she'll be right, as Australians do, and that just carries on throughout the day. And then you've really got to pick yourself out of that funk, and it takes a lot of energy to break that out. Like, how many people have been caught on like a scroll, through Instagram, through TikTok, or whatever your poison of choice is? It takes so much energy to break out of that habit.
You have to consciously think about it. I'm thinking there, like, I'm like, you're scrolling, it's pointless, you're getting nothing out of this, stop.
There's always one
Why
more
don't
video.
You stop? Just stop.
And then you start seeing the same stuff again, and you're like, I'm still just happy.
Yeah.
Just
so this is fucked. Yeah,
it's just blissful
crack.
Nothingness.
Yeah. I'm just sitting here, medicating myself. Shit.
Legit. So we were having a brief discussion beforehand. I brought up the topic of like why we're putting ourselves in this situation, because we've just set the tone now. Like, what we're trying to achieve, it's very uncomfortable. It's how we like it. We fucking hate it, but we wouldn't have it any other way. So why did you choose to go down the very, very difficult path of trying to become a professional musician? Like, why have you chosen that?
Basically, it's all means to an end, really. Like, I just want to be able to fucking cruise and chill, like, legitimately. Not, like, have to work, but I got some spare money so I can go on holiday every now and again. No. I want to fucking cruise. That's what I do the best of anything. So to do that, I've got to work really, really, really fucking hard for however long it takes to get to that point till I can cruise. So the reason that I've decided, like, I have a problem with authority a little bit.
Don't we all?
And I just cannot, any job that I have, through it means of my own creation, like maybe I sabotaged a job because I didn't like it, had a bad attitude because I didn't like it, or the other end of the spectrum where I have a job that I do like and I don't fucking do anything wrong and it still falls through. I could sit here and figure out how many jobs I've had, but we'd be here for a while because I'm so in between them to the point that it's just like, it doesn't work like this for me. I don't work for other people. Even if it's a good situation and a good job, it finds a way to fall through, and I think that is the universe at work. It's like, I'm just not meant to be that person, and I think that's because, like, I get down when I'm in working for someone like that, and I don't feel like the work that I'm doing is progressing my own things.
Yeah.
And if I'm just, all my time every day goes into somebody else's things that I'm not a part of. Like, it's different when it's working with the people around me because we're all a part of each other's things. But when it's someone's paying you for that service to better their cruise,
your gear in the machine.
Yeah, I'm helping them. I'm assisting them cruise. I'm probably not getting paid what I'm worth.
Yeah.
Probably not feeling that great about it. And I just checked out of that. I was like, it's not fucking for me. So look, I'm going to try this. And a long time it was just trying without really any good feedback that this was the right way to go.
But you still kept pushing, even without, like, what's the word I'm looking for? The verification.
Well, it was a push because at the same time I like what I do. So I was doing it out of enjoyment because I like it. But at the same time, a lot of it was like, oh, maybe music isn't what it is, and maybe I am going to have to go get a job. And then I do go a bit further down that road, and then I start working a little bit more diligently, and then a couple of months, job falls through, I just come back out like, holy fuck, no fucking way, music. Every time I come back, because it's like, I can't do this. I need to do my own shit, and my own shit is music, so...
I remember it's probably like 18 months ago when we were going for a walk down Burleigh, and this is the first time we'd reconnected after years, right? And I can't remember how the conversation came up, but it was something along this topic. And for the year leading up to that point, we had both gone through a similar kind of mental hurdle. Like, for me personally, I'd taken a step back from, clothing design. I was doing marketing and web design and all that kind of stuff, still in the creative industry, but not, where my passions were aligned. And it really took me getting down and having lots and lots of failures in that scenario for me to kind of go, what do I actually want to do? If I'm going to fail and I'm going to be fucking miserable, not miserable, that's not the word. Like, if I'm going to continue failing and having to learn through those failures, I want to at least be doing it in something that I love to do, and I would be doing it for free anyway. So I scrolled through my camera roll, and I was just like, 80% of my camera roll is just clothes, screenshots of clothing design, screenshots of photo shoots, screenshots of graphics, like, textiles, hardware, all that kind of shit, like that. And like, when I look at my YouTube, it's like fucking fashion designer, fashion brand, come up story, or my fucking podcast. It's like all the arrows, big fucking flashing lights pointing to fashion. And it took me getting really, really deep. And like, I don't like using the word depressed because I don't feel like I've ever been depressed, but I was down and I was unenthused and I was just going through the motions, And it really took me going through that kind of solid few months of doing that to realize, hey, what the fuck am I doing? Get back to anarchy, you fucking idiot. You know, like, sometimes we have to get out of our own way and just allow our passions to kind of drive us. And then what I found crazy is like you pretty much had an identical kind of experience over that time as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I was even gonna say sometimes it catches like it's subtle. Sometimes you don't realize till after the fact. Like I had a job that a lot of people would be like, "Fuck, that's a sick job." It was really cool, and it was a sick job. I was working on zip lines all the time.
Yeah, Mount
so
Tambourine.
Tambourine, taking people up and down zip lines, like really fucking big zip lines too. Not talking about some little shit. They're like 350 meters long, 70 meters
Through
above
the
the ground.
canopy, like
People
sick.
coming in at like fucking near 80 k's an hour. It was hectic, and it was an awesome job, but the whole time I worked there, I was, had steady income and like could look after myself. I didn't write any music, but at the time, it didn't occur to me until universe coming back around, making that job not as glorified for me as it was. Not going to go into that shit, what happened, but the universe came round and made it so that I didn't want to be there anymore, which ended up in me leaving. And then that's when the music came back, and then that's when I realized that I hadn't made any music the entire time I was there. Just because
just bottled up inside you.
Yeah. And then after the fact, I had to go through that after. Is like, fuck, I haven't actually had this this ability, this release that I get from music in that long, and I actually like felt the negative effect of like 2 years worth of not doing it in that one moment.
Yeah,
it was fucked.
It's insane. Like for all you J. Cole fans out there, if you've had a chance to go on and look at the mini documentary for his most recent album, he talks about going back to the house that, well, you probably know more details about it, but he talks about going back to the house that he was living in when he was kind of first coming up, just to kind of get that hunger back, because, he's fucking rich. He's got everything he wants. He's got all the connections. Like, he doesn't have to work anymore, but his internal drive still wants to create these things. So he had to put himself in a physical location to get in the mindset to create the magic that got him to where he was. And when I was like listening to that, I was like, fuck, someone at the top of their game still is dealing with the exact same issues that I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
It doesn't change. Like, although I'm guilty of it. We think like when success comes, that's the magic bullet. We're sorted. We're going to be happy, right? Everything's made at that point, right? So, but when that comes, and we've heard this story time and time and time again, when that comes, if it's not your true purpose, or you're not doing it for a cause larger than, what society is telling you is success and all that kind of stuff, we find ourselves falling flat on our face, because it's like, oh, okay, I've done this thing that is meant to bring me happiness. Like, where the fuck's the happiness at, Or maybe it's short-lived. You're ecstatic for 2 weeks, because you've got your trophy and your money in the bank and stuff like that. But there's only so many times you can go to a fucking luxury restaurant and eat oysters before you get sick of it,
There's that Jim Carrey quote that I can't remember fully, and I'm just going to butcher. But he's like, everyone should try and be famous so they realize that there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Well, Kendrick said a quite similar thing in an interview. I can't remember what interview it is, but he was talking about how he won the Grammy for To Pimp a Butterfly, and the guy asked him, he's like, "Oh, like, how'd you feel after?" And he was like, "I was kind of sad."
Yeah.
I was like, "What now? Like, I've done it. I've done what I've been trying to do for this long. Now what? What now?"
That is a trip.
After winning a Grammy, for any musician, that's got to be like the pinnacle. And he's said he felt pretty shit.
But the pinnacle of what?
That was
exactly
the Michael Jordan documentary I just keep talking about. Like, he fucking quit and went and played baseball. Like, he was the best basketball player of all time ever, and then he's like, nah, I'm gonna play baseball.
Something different.
Yeah, it's like I've won 3. I'm the best ever.
Exactly.
I've got nothing else. Yeah.
But like, and I have these kind of thoughts. So then, although there's good and bad in everything, it doesn't matter whether it's your fucking passion. Like, there's goods and bads to everything that requires, you know, work and all that kind of stuff. But when I find myself like staying up till ungodly hours of the morning building out tech packs for, or, you know, designing t-shirt graphics and things like that, when there's no limits, no one is telling me what to do, I am channeling what's coming out of me. And it sounds so esoteric and woo-woo, but there's no other way to explain it, because how on earth, like same as the song, man, I'm sure you'll get into it in a second, like you're pulling something out of nothing, and the only thing that's like allowing that to build and take form is the things you've received, the people around you, your environment, you know, your vision towards the world and the message you're trying to say. And I find myself getting caught, and I'll be up until the sun comes up. I don't even realize I've been fucking designing for 8 hours straight, you know? My bum is numb, but you don't even notice because you're so enthralled in what you're creating. And that, to me, is the purpose.
Yeah. It's that moment. I feel like I thought about this before. When people hear the final product of your music or the song, they go onto Spotify, they listen to Ferris Bueller. And I think a lot of people who maybe don't make music or release music would think that the highlight of that is hearing the final, and it is. It's the final, but the best feeling for me is the same state that you've just explained. When I'm writing and it's coming out of nowhere, and the big thing for me that really gets me going is when I sat down with maybe not much of an idea of where I was going, and all of a sudden now I'm writing very deep, intense lyrics that I wouldn't have been able to give you any of it therapy, 10 minutes before. Honestly, but it's just therapy. Like you find that flow state and it just keeps coming and it's really good. That is the rush. That moment is why I come back.
Yeah.
For those moments where you're like, holy, I didn't have anything. I had no idea. Heard a beat. Now I'm on a flow. Now I'm writing the deepest lyrics I've ever written before.
Yeah.
Shit.
And you realize the way you actually think as well and what you really care about, you know? And the creative arts, and like for everyone, not everyone's creative, but I do strongly believe it is really important as a human being to have some kind of creative outlet, even if it's, you know, writing or, you know, whatever. There's no limits to what you could consider creative, but having some form of expression, I think, is what humans were designed for. And it's the reason why we developed like the creative arts. They're like some of the earliest memorabilia of human civilizations, the arts, you know, the storytelling. It's a form of communication. And now, you know, now we have dictionaries and all that kind of stuff that tells you how to communicate. But before we had all this fucking bullshit and these systems, we had the arts. That's how we would transfer message. That's how we transfer, you know, how to treat people, all these kinds of things, you know. So I feel like if you're someone you're listening and you're in a little bit of a funk, you're in a job, maybe you love your job, but you're not feeling 100% fulfilled, pick up a creative hobby of some kind. Hey guys, we are back from our unplanned interlude that kind of crept up on us last minute.
Out of nowhere.
But that's okay. Well, universe, take the wheel. I was about to jump into a question that I hadn't thought of, and I probably should have taken the break to think of what the question was. But Scott, like, let's give you a little bit of airtime, man, because I honestly really, really respect what you've built here, the studio Electric Sugar. And like, if I'm honest, man, like probably a lot of what we're doing now in terms of the band, this podcast and stuff wouldn't be here without Electric Sugar. If that's fair to say, you know?
It wouldn't be. That's the truth.
Yeah, 100%, man. So like, why don't you share a little bit, like, why the fuck have you taken on such a big task? Like, what motivates you to do that?
That's a good question.
It's a deep question.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I started playing. I was always into music just anyway. Like, there's silly videos of me as like a kid running around with music playing and then just making a complete goose out of myself. And I don't know, I just always did everything emotion based. Like, that's just how I am. So it was I don't know, anything that was related to expression, like that's just what sort of drew all of my attention in. So I was like, started off with like extreme sports, like downhill, like mountain biking and skateboarding and surfing and shit like that. And then like once I like picked up a guitar, which I was like always into, I was like, I want to be like that fucking guy playing guitar. And it was just the same thing. Like I just dropped everything else. I dropped surfing, skating, riding my bike, because I was like, I can sit in my bedroom, I can make a perfect wave and just surf it for as long as I want. It doesn't matter if it's windy, dark, 4 in the morning. I can always just do this whenever I want. So I don't know. I just went all in, and then was really doing a lot during school, like not work or anything, but I'd have like 2 guitar lessons a week. I was able to skip a lot of class if I practiced guitar in the next room.
Yeah.
I had a rad guitar teacher that was like, yeah, if you practice, I'll facilitate that for you. It's like, neat. And then, I don't know, it sort of came time to, like, when I was leaving school, everyone's like, you know, the big uni question. And
what are you going to do
with your life?
What are you
going to do with your life? I'm like, I haven't thought about that once. And I was like, I already tracked like a couple of EPs and stuff like that, and was just interested in it just because that's what I do for fun anyway. And then it was like, well, am I going to do like a jazz guitar course and teach guitar, or I don't know, just keep going along with this recording thing? And then my thinking was I could be teaching guitar to kids and stuff so they could go out and then go to the studios and then live gigs and then throw it down. But I'm like, I want to be in the middle of the shit. Like, I want to be where they're making all of that. I want to be a part of the decisions.
The energy.
Yeah. I don't want to be preparing for it. I want to be in it.
Yeah.
That's where I like hyper sort of like tunnel vision, concentration, like doesn't really come in handy in life anywhere else except for stuff like this. Like it's really good to just be like, all right, got to get this done in the next 4 hours. I can shut everything off. So it's, I don't know. And then after I went through the university degree, I came out the other side. I was like, I don't really want to go work like at a studio doing shit. I really wanted to like I did the degree really selfishly just to be able to create a canvas for myself. Like I just wanted to be self-sufficient and just record. I live on the fucking street, but I can make an album.
You'll have a sick fucking thing. You'll have sick music to listen to, but you'll be homeless.
Exactly. I'd eat 2-minute noodles and then go record through my $1,500 preamp. Like, that was my life it's still my life. But then I started something up, a little business, and we were cooking along a little bit. And then we just had a couple of personal differences with the old guy I was with, and then came down here again. Just didn't know anyone down here. I was in Brisbane, sorry, and then I moved back down to the coast where I'd grown up. Didn't really know any bands. Sort of every connection I made was up in Brisbane. I don't know. And then I was gonna just start a tiny little studio in a little shed somewhere, or just work out of my bedroom again. And then I don't know. The people around me were just like, "Man, you've been doing that for 6 years. Like, what's the next thing? Like, what are you gonna do?" And it's like, like I was terrified. Like it's all on the line, or I could go and play it safe again.
Yeah.
So it was, I don't know. And I don't like making myself public. I like sitting in a dark room and just chipping away at something and then showing what I've done after like a year. Like, and then this was like, starting this business was a big part of it was I've got to sell myself now as well. And so I don't know, it's been a huge challenge, and like credit to you guys for making me like step outside sometimes and stuff, and making me talk into a microphone, because I would not be doing this shit for sure on my own. I sort of wait until people come to me, which doesn't work all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wouldn't, I never imagined doing anything else. I didn't know how to do anything else. The thought of, I don't know, selling anything makes me sort of sick.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's like, I don't know. I love building things with people, and like, I just, like, I think I tell you guys this all the time. It's like, my dream is to just be able to build my Legos and everyone fucks off. Like, I just want to play with my Legos. Build stuff. Once it's built, go, cool. And then go and build the next thing. And like, music production is just the perfect avenue for that. Because every project's completely different. I get to put my face as deep in as I can. And then we have something together at the end. And then they go and travel
on to the next.
Do whatever they can with that. And then I'll see you again in a couple of months, and let's build something else.
Yeah. And one thing that I've like really noticed, especially over kind of the reasonably short time that I've known you, like your ability to see the strengths in any particular situation and then really like highlight those, it's something that it's made me reflect on the way that I act and view the world around me as well. Because, you know, like you're working with different artists, you know, sometimes they're not even artists. Like I've heard you talk about a few of the audio books and stuff that you've had to deal with, and every single project brings its own set of difficulties that you have to navigate, and you have to do it in a way that you still get the best result possible out of the end result. You know, you almost have to, there's no egos involved.
Yeah, no, of course. It's everyone has their own ticks, and you know, like different motivation. Like everyone's making music almost for a different reason as well. Like tapping into an individual story and just like what motivates you? Like why are you in my studio tracking? Please tell me, and then let's
bring that to life.
Yeah, like bring it to life. I had a word, but I can't think of it. It was a little more harsh.
Well, I mean, I take my hat off to you because, like, not only see, like, for me personally, I don't have, although I have stock tied up in my business and stuff, I'm not at the stage where I have like a warehouse or employees and stuff like that I have to maintain. Like, you have a lot on the line in this studio, and like I've seen you grow, like, just like I said, over the 6 months that I've known you, and really take hold of this place. And because like Electric Sugar is an environment, it's going to be a hub, especially like where you're located. If done right, and it was starting to boil up now, if done right, this could be the epicenter for music on the Gold Coast and culture, especially in our generation coming up, because it's such a prime spot, such an amazing facility. The energy here, like so many people that come along to like the Before the Money events, they just love the energy that's in this place.
Well, that was the idea, like the point of difference, really. Like and anyone, well, not any. Like one, I guess, but if you spend a lot of money on really nice equipment, like you can record stuff. Like, it's about building a mood and an atmosphere, having someone come in and be like, whoa, okay, this is all for me, and I can just sit in here and, you know, you just like tailor it. Like if I work with a particular band that likes to party and track, so it's, you know, I set it up like a birthday party. I put shit out on the benches and, you know, have it nice and clear, because I know there's going to be fucking 15 people walking in and out. But, you know, that brings the best out of them. So cool. Some people like sitting in front of the mirror and working directly with me and grinding stuff out. And then it's just cool. Let's do that.
Yeah.
It's fun. Like, it keeps it fresh. If everyone can't work the same, because we're all so different anyway.
There's so many walks of life that come through here, but that's also a massive credit to you and what you do, because you're the person, and like we get to hear the stories of other tracking sessions and stuff, but like it's not easy what you do, getting everybody to work cohesively on one thing. You're like the glue that brings it all together.
Yeah, and it's something like I'm still practicing as well. Like something I was lacking when I first opened was the production stuff, because I was so stressed out about signal path and, you know, shit going wrong, and then I'd lose a microphone and be like, okay, I gotta follow 50 meters of cable now and figure out what's happened.
All while maintaining an atmosphere and dealing with guests.
Yeah, and you're not, like, the rule of thumb is you don't keep the musician waiting. Like, if they're ready to go, like, hit record. Like, otherwise you've sort of fucked it up. Like, that's the moment gone. So once the gear was all second nature and it failed on me, you know, already 20 times with clients in here, I don't know, I just wasn't afraid of it anymore. It's like I always deal with it. It always gets fixed. If we don't, the compromise is always fine. And then once that was able to sit at the back of my head, I was like, oh, let's have fun.
Yeah.
Let's have fun again.
So we were passing around like this phrase outside before we started recording, and I feel like it ties into a lot of people that are on the come up journey, or maybe they've reached some level of success and they're on to the next level. Is like, success is a lot less about the things you have to do, the tasks and the achievements you have to accomplish, as a lot less about that, rather than it is more so about the person you have to become and the mindset shifts that have to occur and the failures and like the triumphant successes as well. Even though they might be small within your own mind, like what we spoke about earlier, my little mental success driving home the other night, like for me, that's a big win. And it came at the time where I needed it, because that is the win that catapults everything else that might become successful and bring the finances in the real world. You know, none of that, if I allowed myself to like embody those fears, I would have been paralyzed. And, you know, although it hasn't happened yet, the successes that are going to come from this collection wouldn't have stood a chance, because I defeated myself within my own mind. You know, so it's really like the journey to success is about developing yourself. And if you're someone that's in this space consciously trying to develop yourself, it's something you hear a million times, but still, even though we hear it, it's almost like that little feeling. It's like, oh yeah, that relates to you, but I'm different. You know,
I'm good. I'm happy here.
Yeah. You know, so it's interesting. But is there anything else we want to chat about? Because I want to keep this one relatively short.
Look, I was just gonna add my little bit to what we were just talking about. That's saying to me, you know, it's not about the task; it's more about the person you have to become. When I hear that, it makes myself think of like, say, like discipline or something. It's not the list of things that I need to do to become successful. Those things are second nature to the dude who gets up at 5 every day anyway. So you become the person that just does that, and by their habits of their life are doing the little things that people don't want to do, it's then the task of being successful becomes second nature and you don't even think about them. That's where it puts my head when I hear that saying. That's what I take out of it.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. Like, I'm sure someone at the top of their game is not like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to get up and, you know, I'm going to start off the day super productive, you know, do my goals and stuff like that. They don't have to consciously think that, because they've realized, hey, this is the lifestyle that's gotten to me where I am, and this is like the lifestyle that I've come to love and come to enjoy.
They don't have to think that they are it.
Yeah,
already
100%. And that's like when you listen to some people, podcasts of people that might be successful, unless you're really consciously trying to piece together the subliminal messages, it can be hard to relate to someone who's already reached it. And that's what I love about this platform, Before the Money. Like, we all have been in the game for a long time, and yes, we've had our successes. Yes, we've learnt so much things. Like, the wealth of knowledge that we have about our respective fields is so far ahead of our age, but we are still before the money in that literal sense, you know. And before the money, to me personally, it's not about money. You know, money's great. Like, I fucking love money. I love buying shit. Don't get me wrong. I won't lie to you, but money to me is not the end goal, but money symbolizes the achievement in many senses, you know. And that's why it's called Before the Money, is because we're on our way to the achievement, and that achievement will always be, the next thing, which, like we spoke about, can be somewhat dangerous, but at the same time, it's the motivation and purpose.
Keeps you hungry.
Keeps you hungry. Yeah. It's that need for progression as well. So Before the Money is really just celebrating the ups and downs of the come up stage, because it's something that not many people talk about until they've made it. Once you're successful, I'll talk about my failures, but while I'm failing, I don't want to fucking talk about my failures.
Nope.
I like that it also puts it in a consumable little parcel for the people. I know people in my life that I wish were a little bit more ambitious. And I like being able to have this platform where I can speak about the trials and tribulations of being ambitious, and they get to see the ups and the downs. And I know I see, even before this podcast, but I bet you going into the future, more and more people will come forward like this. But I can see my own influence on people's lives where they maybe weren't very ambitious before. They've met me, someone who is quite ambitious, doing some stuff, and then that has sparked it for them, and now they are also
ambitious. It makes it okay.
People.
It makes it acceptable.
Yeah. And just real quick, I know you want to wrap it up, but like what the thing that really changed gear for me and then made everything happen really quick. I spent so much time being scared of growing in front of other people. I wanted to sit in my room until I was the best, and then I was gonna walk out and be like, "Here I am, bitches." But it's like
we've all had that stage.
Yeah, but it's like, nah. grow with other people, and it'll happen faster and like better as well. Like you'll be more whole because it's like that saying, like, it takes a community to raise a baby. You're a fucking little baby. Get yourself out there and see what's going on.
Well, nothing's been clearer of what you just said than like us all coming together and working together. Like I feel like I've progressed more in this last 6 months than I have the entire 6-year fucking career.
It's been that was the biggest gear shift for me, was the link up, the group that we've created. Yeah.
It's fucking super exciting. So thank you guys for staying on. We've really opened up to you guys on this one. So I appreciate you guys listening. I hope you got a little nugget out of this one. And if you are enjoying it, please, please, please leave us a subscribe, leave us a like, leave us a comment, a review, whatever you're listening to this on, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, your mum's fucking record player, whatever you've got. Leave us some kind of engagement, because it really does help. And if you've really got some value out of this and you're connecting with the show, please, 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 please screenshot it, post it on your story, tag us, send it to a friend, something, because we can't help you unless you help us. We're trying to build a platform here so we can spread the message and make it okay to talk about, the trials and tribulations of success, because like you've all got an understanding for here, success does not come without massive failures, and keeping that bottled up inside you, especially thinking that everyone else around you is successful with no downfall and you're just there stuck in your rut, like you're not. Everyone's going through the same kind of shit. So we want to make that conversation and bring it to the surface. So please, 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 please share it in whatever way you can. It really does mean a lot.
Definitely put your kids onto this, because your kids can make you rich.
Yeah,
fuck. They'll listen to us. They'll be like,
or teach them golf or something. I don't know.
And then they'll make
some
you
little
rich.
Tigers running around.
And then the last thing that I'm going to ask you to do is take out your phone, find my Instagram at v.blvq, go into the link in my bio and purchase yourself some tickets for the Elsewhere gig, which is on the 6th of August, everybody.
The 6th.
We went hard in that episode plugging that shit. Got postponed, COVID shit. We'll leave it at that. 6th of August. We'll see you all there. It's going to be a fucking party. It's going to be double the fucking hype now because we've had to wait for it again. And I'm so excited.
Thank you guys. Before the fucking money, we're at Electric Sugar. Let's get it.
Boy.